What is up, my Gaggle of Geeks? It is Westworld Diagnostics. Bring yourself back online. It's time to talk about episode 6. Holy shit. A lot of stuff happened in this. This is the Decoherence episode. We have been covering at least the past few episodes for season 3. And I have a very special guest with me. I've known him for the past couple years as a film fan, a Denzel Washington fan, and now a Westworld fan. Maybe. Well, I don't know his thoughts on what this new season is, but please welcome Rando. How's it going, man?
Good. How's it going, bro?
Oh, it's so good to have you on, man. It's taken a while to have you on as well, because we both decided for some reason to try to do this on 420.
Yes, and that was a mistake.
That was yeah, that was kind of a mistake. But I'm really glad that you're on now to talk about Westworld. Have you been a fan from the start when it first got into it? What have your thoughts been so far on all of the seasons?
Truthfully, I was a fan from the start and from the movie from the 70s, I believe. Yul Brynner, super. That's what got me wanting to actually watch the actual show. And then the first season I thought was amazing. Second season, I got through it. This season I think it's really action packed, a lot going on. I am a fan.
Nice.
And I guess long way of saying that.
What have you thought about, like, is there a ranking that you have so far in the seasons? Do you have what did you think of season 2, for instance?
I just thought season 2, maybe it just was not a lot like season 1. And I know that always throws people off. And I like for things to be different, but I think it just was a little bit too technical. I don't know if that's the right word, but it just, a lot of the story, I was like, okay, so why aren't we talking about this? Because they were moving away from the actual town and the actual Westworld, and I like the actual other places. I love the episode where they went to show the samurai because they played Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
On that episode, I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just didn't like it. It seemed like they were just going. I didn't know where they were taking it.
Well, you mentioned the music. Like, the music is one of the best parts of Westworld.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of the renditions they've done this year? I don't feel like they've done as much.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've done as much either, as I'd say like the first season and second season, but I think the renditions are good. It's always it's actually hard to picture them out. I only know them sometimes because of the recaps. When I read them or someone else points it out, you're like, oh, that was Coldplay, or hey, yeah, that was the Stones. And you're like, I didn't, you didn't notice it till somebody kind of points it out.
Well, once it's featured on Spotify, you're like, oh shit, there it is, cool.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite character then, Rando? If you were to pick anybody, or has it evolved? Tell us the progression for what you've been invested in for these characters, or who your favorite been.
Honestly, me, it's Dolores. The way her character's grown from the beginning. And now, this episode was just amazing. And she is the full package, if you think of the first episode, when you first see her, and you see her as this girl who constantly gets murdered and it's trying to get her father saved. And you're like, oh man, that's gotta be a horrible thing to do. And then to where she is now, you're like total 360 of a character, or total new character came out of,
Four new characters came out of her in a way, right?
Yes, right, yeah.
And that was the great thing about this episode with Decoherence, because we get a lot of cool, I guess, internal fights and Charlotte, played by Tessa Thompson, goes full-blown Terminator in this one, and that is not a bad thing. So let's, I guess, talk about some of the stuff with it. First of all, I guess with Sirach's plan to take over all the shares of this company, to obtain all of the data and information to start to control people, he kills a board member right in front of Charlotte, and that kind of triggers her to go just full-blown Terminator. She's knocking out everybody. What have you thought about Tessa Thompson playing Dolores' character and where her character ended in this episode.
Dude, that totally blew me away. I mean,
Literally.
yes. And if you think of the boardroom incident, it was like, oh, yes, I was prepared for this. And you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And all of a sudden, just everybody's like choking, and you're like, oh my goodness. And then she pulls out the gun and just boom, 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 total assassin. Like, and one thing I have to say, perfect bang. Did she have to shoot anybody twice?
Oh, totally. And also, Sirach just still not being there. I like him as a villain.
Yeah.
Like, he's played a couple villains. I remember he was a villain in Ocean's 12, I think.
Yes.
He was the villain in Ocean's 12. That's what I remember from him, and that is it. And so when I saw him in this, I went, maybe. But the more that they gave him his backstory, and now where it's just like, he's Lex Luthor. Like, shave that guy's head. He could be a great Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I've always liked him. I agree. Ocean's 12, I think, was the best thing. I think that he also might want to have one of the biggest movie filler parts with that breakdancing capoeira scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But in this, he's amazing. And the part where he actually wasn't there, I thought that was cool. That throws just another element. Like, he's like the high man in the tower, like just totally kind of watching everything puppet masterish, but still just, it's, I think Dolores might get him,
Yeah.
It's super exciting.
I have no idea who's mentally ahead of each other between the two, because
Right.
Sirach lets on like he knows a lot, but I don't think he at least knows where Dolores is heading. And he just figured out the Charlotte stuff, but yeah, I'm not sure. Do you think they're going to bring his brother back into it?
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell with that. I don't know, man, because I think sometimes that's where shows, if you bring too many characters in, especially if you have someone as strong as Sirach, you might just want to kind of let him stand alone, or unless the brother's going to be an obstacle.
Do you think Sirach is going to last through this season? Like, do you think this would be a moving character into the season 4, which was just greenlit?
Oh, no. I kind of think because he's a villain, and either he's got to be an unbeatable villain, or the next season you bring a bigger, badder villain normally. And I could totally see that. Or, I don't know, bringing back, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name. The dude from season, Anthony Hopkins. Yes.
Well, my co-host Chaz has also been saying that there's got to be a connection to that somehow. I've personally not seen it, but I get it. And Charlotte, like, Tessa Thompson and her character in this has been some of the most fun character growth.
Yeah.
I guess this season. I thought there was going to be more from Aaron Paul. We have 2 episodes left, so hopefully we get everything about his backstory soon. But the way that they had Charlotte go out in this, and the love that she has for this daughter that isn't even hers at this point, and she's Dolores, like, at the same time, and knowing now that the betrayal that she's now gotten from Dolores, it's just, she's gonna go on a rampage. And now that she's all Anakin Skywalkered out, just totally just burned to a crisp, and like, ooh, it was so cool to see.
Yeah. What was funny is after I watched the show, because I watched it again, they showed a scene about the blowing up of the car, like how they did it, like how that was a huge, like, 3-4 day undertaking, that they couldn't do it for the set. They had to actually go to San Francisco, and what did they say? They actually blew up a Jeep, because obviously they don't have a car like that. But no, I thought that scene was awesome. Me and my wife actually said something funny, as I was like, is it me, or would Tessa Thompson and Michael Ealy just have a really, all their kids would be good looking? And then,
Nice.
she was like, yeah. But no, I think she's really taken it on, and I like how that was actually her weakness, the fact that she cared for the son, and he said the real Hale would have never called to check on her son, which shows
Mhm.
she was like one of those people that only cares about work, career, um, and she showed a human side, which is weird for a robot.
It's interesting that that's just only coming from her. Almost like when Dolores imprint or like made those like 5 different like personality or whatever
Hmm.
those ball things, like maybe in a Voldemort Horcrux way, like this one has bravery, this one has fear, this one
Right.
has empathy. It's weird that Charlotte's the one that can break through to it. I hope they maybe explain more about that as well. But
No, yeah.
the other thing that happened that I was really like, it was the trippiest thing, and I'm gonna say this because I've said that in the last episode. This whole season is a Stanley Kubrick's wet dream.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
this is all Stanley Kubrick homages from A Clockwork Orange to 2001. Um, what was the one? Eyes Wide Shut with that
Oh yeah.
dance thing. Oh, totally Kubrick. And we get a little bit more Clockwork Orange when it goes to the Man in Black. William is doing his therapy sessions, and he's not alone. He's got like 7 different iterations of himself, a younger
Hmm.
him. You've got the William that was in love with Dolores. You've got oh shit, I'm forgetting the guy's name. The his partner, Delos,
Oh yeah.
who
Hmm.
Delos is there, and he basically has to confront all of them, leading to just beating the shit out of all of his different people.
Yeah.
What did you think when this first started happening? Do you think it was were you thinking it was real, or where were they going with this? And do you think it ended well?
I mean, it ended not the way I thought it was going to end. I totally thought it was like going to be showing that they'd broken, but it showed that they just unleashed the true animal that's inside him. Like that thing with the kid. They showed the scene where he was talking to his father, and he's like, "What'd you do to that kid?" He's like, "You did this." He's like, "You knocked 3 of his teeth out." And he's like, "Yeah, you broke his arm." And he was like, "I should have knocked all of his teeth out." And you're like, "Oh, so this started at a very early age,"
Yeah,
which
that
it
was
kind of shows that.
interesting. I forgot about that. But
Yeah,
that kid was a little asshole from the beginning, wasn't he?
right, right, yeah. So I mean, it's super, super crazy but cool scene. It's just it's weird that like that's where he's kind of evolved as a character, because in the beginning you were like, this dude's just the badass man in black, and yet he's so like so many different layers to everything. That's one thing I think I love about the show so much, is that they keep throwing on layers, and they're not it's not getting out of control. Um, it's actually you see that they have a path that they're trying to go to, which is actually making this season very well received, I feel.
Hmm. And they do a good callback with William and like all of his different iterations. I think that I have a theory that where his character is ending up, whether it's going to be at the end of the season or maybe sowing the seeds for it, he has to have redemption some way. But I think it's going to be through Maeve and her daughter,
Hmm.
because he's the one that's always messed that up. So if he can find a way to fix that, maybe that can give his character some redemptive arc before he goes out in a blaze of glory or something.
That makes sense. Yeah, because it's kind of like one of those things, like you can't be all asshole, and he's got to show that I guess the younger him had a good side, but he's only been bad for most of the series. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. What about Maeve really kicking ass in that one scene, or multiple ass for how many dudes she killed?
Nazi asshole. She was just
Yeah.
kicking. Yeah, she went back to into Nazi world to recruit people, from what I thought. And when she
Mhm.
gets through it, she's just like, you know what? Time to just start slaying motherfuckers, and just goes to town. that was interspliced with Charlotte's kind of a rampage as well. It was this season has had girl power all over it,
Oh yeah.
and some of like the coolest action scenes, like the car chase back during the genres episode to this one. Maybe like the writing is a little bit more simplified, and maybe I'm a simpleton, but I kind of like that a little better with this season. But they're doing this with her character, leading her on with Sirach's plan to get this encryption key from Dolores. That's going to be her heaven, right? Do you think they're going to end that with this, or is this going to end in a standoff between Dolores and Maeve that kind of doesn't get resolved?
You know, when I saw that scene today, I feel like somehow they're going to come together, you know, because it felt to me like it's like a standoff, like you said already. And she was like, I need you to do this. She's like, you know, I can't do that, you know, and everything was kind of like, everything was more of on the terms of like, you know what I'm trying to do, and I know what you're trying to do. And you have to choose which way you want to do this, you know. And it seems like Maeve is not ready to do what it takes, where Dolores already seems on a path and she's not going to stop for anyone.
Yeah. With only 2 episodes left, I'm pretty, yeah, they've got a lot to resolve still.
Yeah.
But we've got the next episode on Sunday, which means we're gonna have our episode on that one, and the following episode will be our full wrap up of everything. And during that time, we actually are reaching the point where I don't know, I just want to tweet people from the show and have them come onto the show. So we have been reaching out to Evan Rachel Wood to come onto the show for the last episode. We're a small podcast. We're Magikarp in the sea of Pokemon that just splash around and do nothing. But maybe if we get a few people to do a what would be a hashtag Dolores hi, I don't know. Let's let's see if we could try to get her on for the last episode. This is putting it out there for hopefully a good juju on this. But what did you think about the episode? Just kind of wrapping up.
Overall, very good. A lot of action and even some deep psychological stuff, you know, with the 7 different iterations of, I just like to refer to him as the Man in Black. But it was very good, very well acted. You know, and it was left you with that cliffhanger. You know, one thing I was going to point out too, and this is, but it's always weird that robots, or I don't know if I'm saying the right thing by calling them robots, but AI, or whatever you want to say.
What do they call them? Shoot. The hosts.
The hosts. You know, for what happened to her, she didn't feel any emotion after that explosion, you know, because she cared about the boy, you know, and her husband or whatever just died, and boom. But she just had that look of like no emotion, no feeling. And I think that's what I really like about this season, is that they show that the hosts, I want to say, do display emotion, or they have emotion, but it's different. And it's coming through very cool. And also the way they do the cunningness of the way they plan stuff, I think was awesome. Because when she was pulling that plan off during all that stuff, I was like, dude, I did not see any of that coming. She was just like, you know, very, very, very well thought out. But I thought it was a great episode, 8 out of 10, I guess.
There are so many more threads to be pulled on with this season. So many more things. We didn't get a lot from Aaron Paul's character this episode, but I'm sure that we're going to be getting that from the sneak peek of next episode. So be sure, if you guys are watching, listening from iTunes, that you guys are rating, reviewing us. Make sure that you give us a like on Facebook. And that about does it for our diagnostics of this episode. And make sure to tune in for the next one. We will see you at that next review.